Hello, welcome back to Tashs Crochet, where today I'll show you how to crochet your very own Stitch inspired plushie. This is super fun to work on, so grab your yarn, get comfy and let's get started. Don't worry because all of the materials will be listed in the description below. In this pattern, both Stitch and Angel have the same head, body, arms, feet. It's just the sort of additional extra details that will be changing. So obviously just use the yarn colour for whichever plushie you want to make. Alrighty, let's get started by making the head. So go ahead and grab your blue yarn and a 4mm hook or whatever works best with your yarn, and let's begin. So we're going to start with a magic ring and do 6 single crochets into it. For this tutorial I am going to start slower for those of you that are beginners, but of course if you know what you're doing you can just shoot on right ahead with all of this. I will get gradually quicker as we go on with the tutorial, so just bear that in mind. Don't forget you can always check how many stitches you have. It can be quite hard if you're a beginner, but once you start recognizing what stitches look like, it's really easy just to double check. So now we are going to close our magic ring. So we have to make sure that we pull the right hoops. So if we pull the main string here, you'll see that one of them gets smaller. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you pull the wrong way. So here, if I pull this side, it's going to pull our main string the wrong way. Do you see that? That's how you know you've got the wrong one. So let's just tighten that up again. So now we know that we need to pull from the other way, but that same right hand string. So pull from the top now, and your other loop should gradually get smaller, and pull as tight as you can. Now you can finally pull it all the way through, and well done, you have done your magic circle. Don't forget to place your stitch marker in the last chain from your hook, so it should be really obvious, it's literally just right behind it. And now for round 2, we are going to place 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, so that's called an increase, and we're going to do that all the way around. So when we're starting with 6 stitches in a magic ring, by doing 2 in each, we're going to double the amount of stitches in round 2. Of course, at any point if you get confused or you're really stuck, feel free to leave a comment and I will try my hardest to get back to you as quick as possible. This will actually be my 7th tutorial video on YouTube, and it's so exciting. We recently hit 10,000 subscribers, which is honestly amazing. I never thought that I would even get 10. So I thank you all so much for your continued support, and if you want to see anything in particular, leave me something in the comments. So for round 3 we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch, and then in the second stitch we're going to do an increase, so that's 2 in 1. So from 2 stitches you should have 3, and that way you're going to increase from 12 to 18. I have really sped up these videos, but it is honestly just to reduce the time because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a super long video anyway. Now we're moving on to round 4, so this is where we're going to do 2 single crochet and an increase. So 2 stitches of single crochet and then in the 3rd stitch an increase, and then when you repeat that all the way around you should have 24 stitches. A lot of people have asked me how they can support without obviously there being finances involved, and just by watching the ads on my videos and liking, sharing, leaving a comment, you're helping my videos reach more people, get more views, and then I can keep releasing more of these tutorial videos for free. Moving on to round 5, this is where we're going to do 3 single crochet and an increase. So you might start getting the hang of it now. We're going to do 3 stitches of 3 single crochet, and in the 4th we're going to do 2 in 1. Repeat that all the way around and you should have 30 stitches. For round 4, we are going to be doing 4 single crochet and an increase. Doing that all the way around, you should have 36 stitches. Now for rounds 7, 8 and 9, so that's 3 rounds, we are just going to be doing single crochets all the way around. So I'm only going to show you the first one and then we'll skip through to round 9 just to save a little bit of time. It's great to always count your stitches and just make sure that you're in the right place, otherwise, especially if your pattern depends on it, you can run into sort of mishaps later, so always count your stitches. Right, so this is what it looks like at the end of round 7, and this is what it looks like at the end of round 9. So you should have something similar. Now, this is where things might get a little bit confusing, so make sure that you take it slow, re-watch it if you need to, but it's vital that you get the stitches correct. So we're going to do 20 single crochet to start off with. So that's just 20 single crochet stitches in 20 stitches. So that bit is the simple part. Now, over the next 6 stitches, we're going to be doing an increase in each one. So just to remind you, that means 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. So it should turn the 6 into 12. So these increases are actually what are going to make the cheeks just that little bit extra puffy. So now that we've done those 12, we are going to do 4 single crochet in this middle part. So basically it's like the nose. It's really simple, 4 single crochet, 4 stitches, and then you should have 6 stitches left over. So if you don't, frog it, redo it. So to finish off like we did before, we should have 6 stitches and we should do an increase in each one. So that will turn that 6 into 12. So you can really start seeing your head start to take shape. You can see where the cheeks are and how the head is sort of facing forward. Nice and easy, round 11, we are just going to be single crocheting all the way around. So make sure that you have 48 stitches at the end of the round, otherwise you've done something wrong. You might not have got into one of the increases correctly, but it's vital to have the right amount of stitches. So now we're basically going to be doing the opposite of what we did for round 10. So we're going to do the 20 single crochet like we did last time. Once you've done those 20 single crochet, over the next 12 stitches we're going to be doing 6 decreases. So a decrease is when we make 2 stitches become 1. So if you watch what I'm doing here, you insert in the first, then into the second, and then you pull a loop through both. Voila! Decrease. So that's the first decrease, and now we need to do 5 more. So it basically turns your 12 into 6. Now we're going to do the 4 single crochet over the next 4 stitches. And finally, over the last 12 stitches, we're going to be doing 6 decreases. In total, you should have 36 stitches. So obviously, if that's not quite right, you need to frog it and redo it. Now we can really see our head beginning to take shape, and we will eventually be placing eyes just above these cheeks, so it kind of gives you an idea of how the face is looking. For round 13, we are going to decrease the entire way around. So we're halving our stitches and you should end up with 18 stitches. Well done, you have pretty much finished off the head now, so all you need to do is slip stitch. When you cut your yarn, make sure that you leave quite a lot left, because eventually you'll be sewing it to the body later. So here's a quick demonstration with stuffing. I think bad stuffing of plushies is the easiest way to differentiate between beginners and sort of high level crochet artists, because beginners tend to understuff their work and then it looks a little bit flimsy, it doesn't quite hold its structure, so really get the stuffing in there Really get the stuffing in there. Make sure you fill out those cheeks and give the head its shape. You want it to be squishy, but you want there to be enough in there that it holds its shape nicely. Awesome, now we can move on to the body. So we are going to do 6 single crochet in a magic ring. I did take certain creative liberties with this pattern, so like I know that they usually have the sort of lighter colour around their eyes, but I found that mine looked terrifying, and you will see that later on. So I just decided to leave it blank, and it's fine if you want to add that in, you can. I personally hate colour changes, so that's why I've decided to do the kind of base body and head everything in one solid colour, and then later on I'm going to show you how to cross stitch embroider on the other colours. There are so many different ways you can do it, but that's how I'm going to show you in this tutorial. I of course nearly had heart failure here because, as you could see, the thread was sort of pulling and I was like, oh great, it's going to snap, it's going to break, but luckily managed to pull it gently enough that it didn't. That's the one sort of drawback of working with this sort of chenille velvet yarn, but I think it's so soft and it's worth it. It's just really annoying sometimes. So you should be a pro at this by now. We're going to do round 2, which is an increase all the way around, and you should have 12 stitches. As for round 3, we're going to do a single crochet and an increase, and we're going to repeat that the entire way around, leaving you with 18 stitches. On to round 4, we're going to be doing 2 single crochet and an increase, repeating that all the way around, and it will leave you with 24 stitches. Moving on to round 5, we are going to do 3 single crochet and an increase, repeating that all the way around, leaving you with 30 stitches. Round 6, we are going to do 4 single crochet and an increase. Obviously repeat that the whole way around and you should have 36 stitches. Can anyone guess round 7? It is a 5 single crochet and an increase all the way around, leaving you with 42 stitches. Now here's where it gets a little bit interesting. So we are going to be doing in the back loops only, single crochet all the way around. So I'm just showing you here on a smaller hook size so that is the back loop. It's the one that's sort of furthest away from you. So that's what it looks like with 2 on, and obviously that's not what we're going through. Now, there are plenty of times I do struggle a bit going around here with just trying to insert my 4mm hook into the back loops only. If it does get a little bit tight, just grab a smaller hook size, pull it through, and then continue on with your normal hook just to keep the sizing correct. I've done it with so many projects, it's really easy. It's fiddly and annoying and you're working with 2 hooks kind of at the same time with one hand, but it just makes it so much easier. Luckily, round 9 is less fiddly. All you have to do is single crochet all the way around. Nice and simple, and you should still have 42 stitches. So we've sort of done the base now, and we're going to slowly start decreasing. So we're going to do 5 single crochet and a decrease, and we're going to repeat that all the way around, leaving you with 36 stitches. I will apologise for my abysmal lighting in this video. I am in the process of moving and I'm all over the place. It has been about 6 months now of being everywhere. And I really wanted to get this video done, so I thought terrible lighting is better than no tutorial. So please bear with me until I'm finally moved and I can set up a proper studio. As for round 11, we are going to do 4 single crochet and a decrease. Repeating that all the way around, and you should have 30 stitches. For round 12, we're going to do 3 single crochet and a decrease all the way around, leaving you with 24 stitches. For round 13, we are just going to single crochet all the way around. Nice and simple, and you should still only have 24 stitches. For round 14, we're going to do 2 single crochet and a decrease, leaving you with 18 stitches. Awesome! For the final round of the head, we are just going to single crochet all the way around and make sure you have 18 stitches. It's really important because it means that the head and body both have 18 stitches, so later on it should be quite easy. Well, it's fiddly because they're different widths, but you have 18, so it should be 1-to-1 stitch ratio. Now I am stuffing the body here, but I'm actually going to interject with a cross stitch tutorial next on Angel, just to show you. I did it a few different ways, and when I did stitch I did it after I'd put the plushie together, and if you're more experienced it's okay, you know, doing the cross stitch on a stuffed plushie, but I actually found it easier, and maybe for beginners it'll most likely be easier to do it without your plushie being stuffed. But obviously this is a great reference point for you to look at and see where you want to put the eyes. Just a little tip from me, I know that I said leave a long tail for sewing on the head, but I also do it with the body, just in case, especially with this yarn, like I mentioned earlier, it sort of frays and sometimes it can break. So I always like to have two options just in case something happens while sewing together. I have a backup. Right, obviously here we have a bit of a change in location and camera angle, but I actually think this might help being a little bit closer up. So I am using a really big needle here. You can get plastic ones, but I actually find that the metal ones make your yarn less likely to shred. Anyways, a little bit of background on cross stitch. So it's a super cute and easy way to add personality to your plushies using just the needle and the yarn. So you create little X shapes directly onto the crochet, the fabric. You can make all sorts of little fun details with it, and I just love to use it. This might take a little bit of practice, so you might have to do it a couple of times. It's fine just to practice, because obviously you can just sort of cut it off and pull it out. But it's kind of hard to see, but each stitch sort of makes a little square, and you're going to, in a diagonal, crochet each line one by one. It is vital to remember to work with even tension, but my favourite little trick here is if you find that you've got some naturally sort of occurring gaps, I just like to pull the yarn through a few times right underneath all of those X's, and it just makes it look a little bit more full. It is super important to always stitch in the same direction. So if you start with the bottom left to top right diagonal, so from working left to right, stick with that pattern throughout your entire project. It makes your stitches look neat and uniform. In the description I will leave a link to my Ko-fi, which will have the PDF with all of the cross stitch grids on there, so you can look at them in your own time and slowly follow them. So now we are going to start with the ears. So we're going to grab our pink yarn, create a slip knot and chain 10. For round 2, we are going to be working back along the chain. So we're going to start by doing 8 single crochet back along. Now in this final stitch, we are going to be doing 2 increases in it. So that would be 4 stitches, and you'll notice that you kind of curve round onto the other side. That's absolutely fine, that's exactly what we want. side, and we're going to do 8 single crochet back along there. This can be a little bit finicky, so if you need to use a smaller hook size to help pull it through, that's fine. And this is what the inner ear should be looking like. Don't forget to slip stitch and fasten off. You don't need to leave a long tail for this one. I just like to pull this thread through just to make it look a little bit cleaner. And there you have it. Here is your inner ear, and we're going to continue working on this in a second. So obviously I am doing angel here, so I'm using a sort of pinky purple, but if you were doing this with stitch you would use the main body colour of whichever one you're doing. And we are going to make a slip knot with that colour, and we are going to pull it through. Just chain 1 quickly. And we are just going to single crochet all the way around the outside. And here we go. So this is what the front side of the ear should look like. So you're going to need 2 of these. And then we're going to do the exact same thing, but rather than using the pink in the middle, just use the base colour instead. That would make the back side, and then we're going to stitch the 2 together. So here is just a sped up clip of me doing the exact same thing, but just in the base body colour. And you'll need 2 of them for the backs of the ears. Here we go, so this is what the front and back side should look like together. And then what we're going to do is, with the longer tail of yarn that we've left after slip stitching and finishing off, we are just going to stitch the 2 pieces together. So I'm just going to quickly show you how I did that on the stitch ears. Don't worry if they look a little bit different, I did modify the pattern. So just look at the technique instead. So if you can kind of see, I am using a smaller hook size. You could use the same needle that you used earlier with the cross stitch. And you're just trying to basically sew through the back loops only. It's just those outer loops. And if you pull through, you can just stitch them together sort of seamlessly. I didn't stuff my ears, I only used the sort of leftover dangly bits, trimmed them up so there isn't too much, and I just stuffed them inside and then continued closing off the ear. After you've finished stitching them together, you can kind of fold the bottom bit over and and just doing the same sort of thing with the outer loops. Just keep pulling them through until you sort of close off the bottom half of the ear.
Or that.
And this is what your ears should be looking like. Now let's move on to the feet. So we are going to do 5 single crochet in a magic ring. For round 2, we're going to increase all the way around, and that should leave you with 10 stitches. For round 3, we're going to single crochet and an increase. We're going to do that all the way around, and it should leave you with 15 stitches. For round 4, we are going to be going into the back loops only again this round, and we're just going to single crochet all the way around. For rounds 5 and 6, so that's 2 rounds, we are just going to single crochet all the way around. Slip stitch and leave a long tail for sewing, and your feet are done. Don't forget that you can embroider on little toes if you want, and don't forget to stuff these as you are stitching them to the body. Now on to the arms. So we are going to do 4 single crochet in a magic ring. For round 2, we are just going to increase all the way around, leaving you with 4 stitches. Now for rounds 3, 4 and 5, we are going to single crochet the whole way around. So of course I'm going to do round number 3, skip it, and then show you what it looks like at the end. And this is what the arms should be looking like. So of course go ahead and slip stitch, leaving a long tail to sew to the body later. Next we are going to do Stitch's Scruffy Bits. We're going to start by making a slip knot and then chaining 3. Next we need to do 2 single crochet back along that chain. Next we are going to chain 5 and then do 4 single crochet back along that chain. This is how it should be looking so far. And then next we are going to chain 3 again. Then you need to do 2 single crochet back along, slip stitch and fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing later. For the tail, we are going to do 5 single crochet in a magic ring. For round 2, we are going to increase all the way around, leaving you with 10 stitches. For round 3, we are going to single crochet all the way around. For round 4, we're going to decrease around, leaving you with 5 stitches. Then you need to slip stitch, fasten off and leave a tail long enough for sewing to the body later. Finally, we are going to make Angel's antenna. So it's super simple, you just need to chain 20, you slip stitch off, you can leave quite a long tail as we will need to sew it along the chains, and then you can use it to sew to the head, and that way you sort of hide the end bit. Just a quick tip, do not pull too tightly as you'll cause the whole thing to sort of scrunch up. So it's really just a sort of light sewing it through just to disguise it. How you end up sewing your plushie together is completely up to you. You know, you decide which rounds look best depending on how your sizes have turned out. Start by sewing the head to the body. It might look like the body is smaller, but don't worry because they have the same stitch count. It will work and it'll line up. It just takes time. I would then attach the arms on either side of the head as close to the neck as possible, and for the feet I'd position them evenly at the base of the body, roughly sewn between rounds 4 and 10 of the body. The ears can be the trickiest part to attach. You don't want them sticking out too far from the sides, so take your time and don't be afraid to be a bit firm. You know, flatten the base of each ear against the head as you sew to really get a snug and secure fit. Obviously, if you are having a hard time with the cross stitch, you can just use felt, or you can do different methods. That's just the technique I wanted to show you in today's tutorial. And that's it. Congratulations, you have made your very own Stitch or Angel. I am absolutely in love with these two. They are so cute, so small and simple to make. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial if you've managed to make it this far. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Bye!